And we are back with the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment number 3, which is a very special segment today.
It's always special, Kaiser. Ooh. Shiny special. Sorry. Oh. Ruh-roh.
Oh, there we go. No, it wasn't showing that it was recording, but it was recording. That was weird.
Okay, it couldn't take the glare of the shininess of the special.
Oh, God. So, that's probably coming through the mic.
Did you just pour a glass or something?
I've got this lime seltzer water that I've been drinking. That I found.
Fascinating.
You can get like a 30-pack of this stuff on Amazon for like $10. Speaking of Amazon shopping, I actually bought this during the last podcast.
Yeah, I remember you saying, actually. You've been on quite the spree.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with this. That sidetrack aside, we are playing a very special game during this segment, this third segment of the podcast here. And that is a old literary game, reading through The Eye of Argon by Jim Thies. So basically the way this game goes, and I will read through the rules before we start, but the gist of it is there is this short story that was written for a fan fiction magazine back in the 70s by some guy named Jim Thies. It is littered with spelling mistakes and poor writing decisions in general, and just hilarious metaphors. And the game, roughly, and I'll read the exact rules, is that every time somebody screws up reading or laughs at something that they've just read, then they have to switch with the other person. And you can play this
like I have the advantage on this. I feel like you really do struggle not to vocalize everything in your mind.
This is, it's an aspect of my character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you may, but I have somewhat of an advantage as I've heard people play this game before. It's been a few years, but
I've never seen this. I'm not even looking at it now until the timer starts, as it were.
Yeah.
It's new to me.
And as you exclaimed before we hit record, it is 29 pages. We very likely won't go through the entire thing. We may just play for a half hour and then call it there.
Yeah.
But it is a priceless piece of reading. And you may be thinking this doesn't sound like it'll be actually entertaining to listen to. Having listened to people do this before, it is. It is. So the name of the game on this particular PDF, the somewhat official competitive reading edition of The Eye of Argon by Jim Thies, being possibly the worst story ever written. So,
am I allowed to look at the first page? Yeah.
I'm reading. I'm on page 2. I'm gonna start reading through the introduction, and then we can get into the game proper.
Okay.
So this version of the Eye of Argon duplicates, to as far as is practicable, and perhaps to somewhat beyond that point, the precise layout of the original as published in Ozfan 10, August 21st, 1970. While it is entirely possible that I have not achieved perfection, my goal was to create a version that presented word for word, line for line, page per page, the exact contents of the semi-mythical original. So here are the rules.
It looks like it just reminds me, probably because of the font they use, but it reminds me of the diffuse manual from Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yes, well, I mean, it was written on a typewriter in the 70s, so that is why, probably.
Okay.
So, how to play the game. The rules are simple, but are subject to change without notice, rhyme, or reason. The readers gather. One player is designated as the proofreader. One proofreader may serve for the entire game, but it is more fun if everyone takes turns in this job. There should be at least 2 identical copies of the text, one for the person reading aloud and one for the proofreader who reads along silently. Each player, in turn, reads the text aloud precisely as written and continues reading until he or she veers from the text or bursts out laughing. The role of the proofreader, or the ruling of the proofreader, is final. So basically, when I'm reading, you're the proofreader, and vice versa. So
Gotcha. So
it's
you
your
call out the other person, yeah.
yeah, it's your job to call out the other person and say when it's time to switch. So when the text contains a typographical error, instead swilvered instead of swiveled, the reader must read the word as written, not correct it. In the case of a word that cannot be pronounced or has no self-evident pronunciation, under the usual rules of English, a good faith effort will be accepted. The group may elect to let a given reader keep going until the proofreader rules he or she made an error or laughs, or until a full page has been read. That's the other thing. If you get through an entire page, or you can play it one way, either an entire page or an entire chapter without fucking up or without laughing, then you automatically switch.
Gotcha.
No score is kept. There are no winners.
Okay. Are we going to have a little wager?
Oh, are we? What are we wagering?
I don't know. What can we wager? That's the real question. The loser has... I don't know why the first thing that came to my head was the loser has to play Lost Vikings.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Now Gentle Jousting's in my head. God, there's so many horrendous games out there.
We'll think of the bet as we go on, maybe.
We go, yeah.
But I'll lead us off, and so you'll be. So I'm on page 5 of the PDF. That's where the story begins.
Okay. Start. Yeah. Okay. It starts with tiny text, right? Okay.
Yeah. It does.
Page 27. It says.
Yeah, it's from the magazine. It was page 27
okay.
of a fan magazine. Gotcha. That's why it was. Okay.
Gotcha.
The Eye of Argon by Jim Thies. The weather-beaten trail wound ahead into the dust-racked climes of the barren land which dominates large portions of the Norgolian Empire, age-worn hoofprints smothered by the stifling sands of time.
Sifting.
Fuck! I already fucked up. Alright, fine. So, you pick up from age-worn hoofprints. I made it through a sentence and a half.
Yep, 1.5 sentences. To be fair, that was just a misread, though. That wasn't that was...
I mean, do you want me to keep going, or do you want to switch off already?
Do you want to get to the end of the paragraph?
I'll go to the end of the paragraph, and then we'll switch.
Good.
Age-worn hoofprints smothered by the sifting sands of time, shone dully against the dust... Yeah, shone.
Do you say it's shown?
Yeah,
someone said shown to me.
Okay, American versus British accent does not count.
Alright, I genuinely thought, because Sean is a different... Shown and Sean are two... Anyway.
Yeah, they're pronounced... Shown and shown are pronounced the same way in an American accent.
Okay, right, sorry, that's my bad.
Sands of time shone dully against the dust-splattered crust of Earth. The tireless sun cast its parching rays of incandescence from overhead. Halfway through its daily revolution, small rodents scampered about, occupying themselves in daily accomplishments of their dismal lives. Dust sprayed over 3 heaving mounts in blinding clouds while they bore the burdensome cargoes of their struggling overseers. Holy shit.
That's a lot of big, random fucking words to put into a sentence.
One thing that becomes obvious as you read through this, Jim Thies owned a thesaurus.
Yeah, no, I get... Well, he was the thesaurus by the looks of it.
Alright, so
yeah,
sorry, go on.
I don't know, I'm just going to kind of summarize the first paragraph. I don't understand... I have no idea what was just read. I spent so much time looking at the words and not thinking about the words, if that makes sense.
Literally, I'm pretty sure this first paragraph is just describing the horizon.
Yeah.
And it took an entire paragraph with like 85 adjectives to do that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, in the last sentence, they're talking about dust sprayed over 3... So basically, dust storm, dust cloud, right? That's what they're talking about for the last sentence.
Yeah, they're literally talking about dusty mountains with clouds around them.
What are the struggling overseers?
I don't know. Only
they
Jim
bore the
Thies knows.
burdensome cargoes that sound of their struggling overseers.
Oh, 3 heaving mounts. Actually, I think they're talking about like a caravan. Like
mounts. I assume it was just
horses.
Some people say mounts for mountains.
I think they meant horses.
Thus spread over 3 heaving horses in blinding clouds. Nah.
Okay, whatever.
Maybe.
Let's not try to figure out the story.
Yeah,
It's
so-
your
okay.
turn next. Start at the word prepare.
Gotcha. Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell, barbarian. Gasped the first soldier. Only after you have kissed the fleeting steed of death, wretch, returned Grigner. A sweeping blade of flashing steel riveted from the massive barbarian's hide-enamelled shield as his rippling right arm thrust forth, sending a steel-shod blade to the hilt into the soldier's vital organs. The disemboweled mercenary crumpled from his saddle and sank to the clouded sward, sprinkling the parched dust with crimson droplets of escaping life fluid. The enthused barbarian swiveled about, his shock of fiery red hair tossing robustly in the humid air currents as he faced the attack of the defeated soldier's fellow in arms. "Damn you, barbarian!" shrieked the soldier as he observed his comrade in death. A gleaming scimitar smote a heavy blow against the renegade's spiked helmet, bringing a heavy cloud over the Ecordion's misting brain. Shaking off the effects of the pounding blow to his head, Grigner brought down his scarlet-streaked edge against the soldier's crudely forked hauberk, clanging harmlessly to the left side of his opponent. The soldier's steed whinnied as he directed the horse back from the driving blade of the barbarian. Grigner leashed his mount forward as the hoarsely piercing battle cry of his wilderness-bred race resounded from his grinding lungs. A twirling blade bounced harmlessly from the mighty thief's buckler as his rolling right arm cleft upward, sending a foot of blinding steel ripping through the Cimmerian's exposed gullet. A gasping gurgle from the soldier's writhing mouth as he tumbled to the golden sand at his feet and wormed agonizingly in his deathbed. Grigner's emerald green orbs glared lustfully at the walling soldier struggling before his chestnut-swirled mount. His scowling voice reverberated over the dying form in a tone of mocking mirth. "You city-bred dogs should learn not to antagonize your better." Reining his weary mount ahead, Grigner resumed his journey to the Norgolian city of Golzam, hoping to discover wine, women, and adventure to boil the wild blood coursing through his savage veins.
Okay, you actually made it through a whole page. That's good.
I bet there were a couple of words which I went back on.
I know, I saw
'cause
that.
I corrected them in my head, and I was like, no, that's not what it says.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was a few points where I was trying to hold back laughing because I forgot this.
Yeah, I heard your chuckle in the background at one point. It's... I find myself... I don't know, it's very... I can't describe what was happening with my mouth at the time, but it was like... It was like when you've put too much in your mouth at once, and you're like trying to speak whilst you have like 10 hazelnuts crammed in your mouth, and you're like just trying to keep it all in. That's the weird sensation it gave me.
Yeah, it gives new definition to word salad.
Yeah, I mean, what's a hauberk? I was gonna read it as halberd.
Halberd. So it's like a type of chest armor essentially.
Oh, is it actually a thing? Okay.
Yeah. It's an actual
Fucking
thing.
hell.
Medieval words. All right. So I'll pick up on the next page.
Yeah, go for it.
The trek to Gorzam was forced upon Grigner when the soldiers of Kryn were leashed upon him by a faithless concubine he had wooed. His scandalous activities throughout the Sumerian city had unleashed throngs of havoc and uproar among its refined patricians, leading them to tack a heavy reward over his head. He had barely managed to escape through the back entrance of the inn he had been guzzling in as a squad of soldiers pounced upon him. After spilling a spout of blood from the leader of the mercenaries as he dismembered one of the officer's arms, he retreated to his mount to make his way towards Gorzam, rumored to contain hordes of plunder and many young wenches for any man who has the backbone to wrest them away.
I will just say, it's Gorzom, not Gorzam.
Is it Oh, Gorzam. Okay.
But yeah, forget it. Just keep going.
Arriving after dusk in Gorzam, Gringar descended down...
Wait, there was no space there.
Arriving after dusk in Gorzam, Gringar? There's a comma. Yeah,
but
there may be no space, but there's a comma. Descended down a dismal alley, reining his horse before a beaten tavern. The red-haired giant strode into the dimly lit hostelry. Okay.
It's not a word, but it's how I pronounce it.
Hostelry, reeking of foul odors and cheap wine. The air was heavy with choking fumes spewed from smoldering torches.
Spewing.
What?
Spewing and smoldering torches is one word.
Okay, fine. I've done mild fuck-ups multiple times. You can take over.
I'm being a grammar Nazi on something where the grammar is so bad.
I know. Well, that's how you're supposed to play the game. You're right. You can start at the air.
Sorry, I'll stop being such a dick.
No, it's your turn. I did fuck up several things.
You want me to say the annoying, stupid bit then?
Yep,
okay.
Yep, it's your turn now. You're at the air.
Okay. The air was heavy, with choking fumes spewing from smouldering torches, encased within Thaden's earthen-packed walls. Tables were clustered with groups of drunken thieves and cutthroats, tossing dice, or making love to willing prostitutes. Eyeing a slender female crouched alone at a nearby bench, Grignar advanced, wishing to wholesomely occupy his time. The flickering torches cast weird shafts of luminescence dancing over the half-naked harlot of his choice. Her stringy orchid twines of hair swaying gracefully over the lithe, opaque nose as she raised a half-drained mug to her pale red lips. Glancing upward, the alluring complexion noted the stalwart giant as he rapidly approached. That's fuck.
Yeah, that's that's that. Can we just talk about that description? Like, just
yeah, I mean, I was laughing at tossing dice, and then I realised that the next few words were making love to willing prostitutes, and that sobered me up.
Oh my god! I also love the best way he could describe her nose was opaque.
Yeah, lithe opaque.
Opaque, as in not see-through. That's good to know.
Isn't lithe like
lithe
quick on their feet?
Yeah. Lithe is you would describe like a jaguar as lithe.
Damn, right? That nose is like a jaguar.
Oh my god! All right,
it's not even transparent.
I'm at glancing, right?
Yep.
Glancing upward, the alluring complexion noted the stalwart giant as he rapidly approached. A faint glimmer sparked from the pair of deep blue ovals of the amorous female as she motioned toward Grignar, enticing him to join her. The barbarian seated himself upon a stool at the wench's side, exposing his body, Naed, save for a loincloth, brandishing a long steel broadsword, an iron spiraled battle helmet, and a thick leather sandals, to her unobstructed view.
A thick leather sandals.
Yes. I like the line, exposing his body.
Yeah, nay Ed.
That's for all those people out there. That's how you really that's how you flirt with a woman. You just walk up and rip your shirt off.
I mean, not many barbarians have shirts. Also, Grigner, very close to Grognak, the barbarian.
Clearly, they copied this.
Yeah.
All right. Thou hast need to occupy your time, barbarian, questioned the female. Question mark is at the end, not at the end of this quote, but at the end of that. Only if something worth offering is within my reach, stated Grigneras.
All right, come on, man.
That's how it's written, Grigneras.
Yeah, I know, but you're like Grigner ass.
Okay, you can take over again.
Finish that sentence anyway.
Okay, stated Grigneras. His hands crept to embrace the tempting female, who welcomed them with open willingness. He's really emphasizing the consent here.
There's a lot of willingness, yeah. What are they even talking about? What's he reaching out?
I think he's I think he's just like, I don't know, is he playing some grab ass here? Like, what the hell is going on?
Some Grigner ass?
Grigner ass. Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so you're at open willingness is the last thing I read, so you're at from.
Yeah. From where do you come, barbarian? And by what are you called? Gasped the complying wench as Grigner smothered his lips with the blazing touch of his flaming mouth.
It's actually her lips, I want to point out, not his lips.
Oh, shit.
You read it as if he's kissing himself.
I mean, I'm just wondering what he's got to have a flaming mouth.
Again, the complying wench.
Oh my god. Do you want me to continue or?
No, I'm calling that. I'm switching back.
Okay.
We're at the end of the page anyway, so even if I go to the end. Alright. The engrossed Titan ignored the...
Wait, hang on. I just see what's coming up ahead. Are we sure we're okay to say this?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Wait, before we do that, if
What?
anyone is not looking for any gory details, maybe...
Yeah,
I will see the next podcast.
I will say,
don't skip ahead.
I probably should have said off the bat, there is some, despite all the terrible, tortured metaphors and adjectives in this story, there is some explicit sexual details and violence in it.
Yeah, I really hope my voice doesn't carry through the door, but of the room I'm in.
Alright, here we go. The engrossed Titan ignored the queries of the inquisitive female, pulling her towards him and crushing her sagging nipples into his yearning.
No, you're so fucked. No.
Crushing her. I wasn't prepared for
That's what
sagging.
I saw, and I was like, maybe we shouldn't.
I wasn't prepared for the word sagging.
Okay. Alright, shall I do that line?
No, I mean, you can if you want to, or you can start after it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Without struggle, she gave in, winding her soft arms around the harshly bronzed hide of Grignar corded shoulder blades, as his calloused hands caressed her firm protruding busts.
Okay.
You make love well, wench, admitted Grignar as he reached for the vessel of pee. What? Is that actually meant to be...
I think he just double typed.
Okay, as he reached for the vessel of pea-potent wine, his charge had been quaffing. A flying foot caused the mug Grignar had taken hold of, sending its blood-red contents sloshing over a flickering crescent. Leashing tongues of bright orange flamed to the foot-trodden floor. That made no sense. That just made 0 sense.
They're trying to say someone kicked the wine out of his hand, but like that's what?
Leashing tongues of bright orange flame. Where's the flame?
Also, first of all, can we talk about how this prostitute in like 2 sentences she went from having sagging nipples to firm busts?
Did you? Yes, you did. Firm protruding busts. Well, a bust's like a head, isn't it?
Why? She's just holding up 2 little statues. This is so... I forgot how fucking stupid this story
This needs
was.
to be... Someone needs to have animated this.
Oh my god. Okay, next page.
You start, because I did
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many mistakes.
Yeah, and it's the next page anyway. Alright. Remove yourself, Sirrah. The wench belongs to me, blabbered a drunken soldier, too far consumed by the influences of his virile brew to take note of the superior size of his adversary. Grignar lithely bounced from the startled female. Bounded, fuck. Okay, yeah, go.
Grignar lithely bounded from the startled female, his face lit up to an ashen red ferocity and eyes locked in a searing feral blaze towards the swaying soldier. "To hell with you, braggart!" bellowed the angered Accordion as he hefted his finely honed broadsword. Alright, hang on, I need to laugh. I read bellowed the angered Accordion. What?
Yeah, I think that's his country. He's not a musical instrument.
I want it to be a musical instrument though. Shit.
Also, can we talk about how he had his face lit up with an ashen red ferocity?
Yeah, I was like, ashen. That's like dark grey generally.
Yeah.
So lit up.
Anyway, so
Yeah. I feel like that's the problem we're gonna have here. We're gonna want to talk about every little segment as we say it.
we probably will. All right, let's try to press on.
Okay.
You were at the staggering.
Okay, I'll continue.
I mean, you laughed. You want we can switch off. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking over.
Okay.
The staggering soldier clumsily reached towards the pommel of his dangling sword, but before his that doesn't count. You made me laugh. That does not count. You made me laugh.
What's this? A subversion of the rules.
Towards the pommel of his dangling sword, but before his hand ever touched the oaken hilt, a silvered flash was slicing the heavy air. The thews of the savage lashing right arm bulged from the glistening bronzed hide as his blade bit deeply into the soldier's neck, lopping off the confused head. Loping. Oh shit, it is loping. It's not lopping. Loping off the confused head of his senseless tormentor. Alright, it's you.
With a nauseating thud, the several opal toppled to the floor. No, it does say severed. I read it as several. Oh my god.
We're just you're anticipating him to fuck up.
I thought in my head it was severed, so I was like, it can't be that. It must be several opal. And I was going to laugh about it later when we stopped, but I was like, oh shit, it's actually severed.
In 2 pages, you've completely lost any faith in this guy's writing ability.
Absolutely. Fucking hell. Alright, you go for it.
Alright. With a nauseating thud, the severed oval toppled to the floor as the segregated... yeah, that does say segregated.
Yeah,
as the segregated torso of Grignar's bovine antagonist swayed, then collapsed in a pool of swirled crimson. In the confusion, the soldiers' fellows confronted Grignar with unsheathed cutlasses directed towards the latter's scowling makeup. The slut should have picked his quarry more carefully, roared the victor in a mocking baritone growl as he wiped his dripping blade on the prostrate form and returned it to its scabbard. The fool should have shown more prudence, however. You shall rue your actions while rotting in the pits, stated one of the sprawled soldier's comrades. Grignar's hand began to remove his blade from its leather housing, but retarded the motion in face of the blades waving before his face. Dismiss your hand from the hilt, barbarian, or you shall find a foot of steel sheathed in your gizzard. Grignar weighed his position, observing his plight, whereupon he took the soldier's advice as the only logical choice. To attempt to hack his way from this predicament could only warrant certain death. He was of no mind to bring upon his own demise if an alternate path presented itself. The will to necessitate his life force upon him to yield to the...
Whoa.
Wait, what?
There's no upon.
What did I do there? The will...
You said the will to necessitate his life upon him, as opposed to forced him.
Yeah, I skipped a... Okay, you can...
I will say, you know how before this, you're like, does this... When I say this in Spanish, does it sound natural?
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing here right now.
It's,
you're dividing the sentence up into like 3 words, and you go do with like every 3 words.
It's a defense technique to try and stop me from fucking up.
It is. It lets you read the next 3, and then you can like, yeah.
Okay. So the will to necessitate is where I fucked up. So you can start there.
Okay. Yeah. The will to necessitate his life forced him to yield to the superior force in hopes of a moment of carelessness, later upon the part of his captors, in which he could effect a more plausible means of escape. You may steady your arms, I will go without a struggle. Your decision is a wise one, yet perhaps you would have been better off had you forced death. The soldier's mouth wrinkled to a sadistic grin of knowing mirth, as he prodded his prisoner on with the sword point.
Yeah.
I know I said the sword point instead of his, but I was right at the end.
Yeah, I was at the end anyway. I was about to switch off. I will say that this barbarian is surprisingly philosophical.
Very literate, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite the debate going over his wench.
I'm trying to keep an eye on the clock. We probably have enough time to...
shit, we're already at 31 minutes.
We're already at 31 minutes. We've been reading this for a while now.
God.
You want to do... Let's do one more page and then we'll call it.
We'll call it. Yeah.
And maybe if people end up liking this, we can go back and maybe try another one later.
If someone gives us feedback and says they like it, then we'll do more of it for sure.
Okay. After an indiscriminate period of marching through slinking alleyways and dim moonlighted streets, the procession confronted a massive seraglio. What the fuck? Seraglio?
I don't know. It's not what.
Okay, seraglio. The palace area was surrounded by an iron grating with a lush garden upon all sides.
No.
What?
Upon all... Wait.
Yeah, lush garden upon all sides. That's what it says.
Yeah, you're fine. Ignore me.
The group was admitted through the gilded gateway, and Grignar was led along, one word, a stone pathway bordered by plush vegetation, lustfully enhanced by the moon's shimmering rays. Upon reaching the palace, the group was granted entrance, and after several minutes of explanation, led through several winding corridors to a richly draped chamber. Confronting the group was a short, stocky man, seated upon a, one word, golden throne. Tapestries of richly draped regal blue silk covered all walls of the chamber, while the steps leading to the throne were plated with sparkling white ivory. The man upon the throne was a naked wench. What?
Had a
naked... Okay, you can take over from there.
That's one of those words that are slightly important.
I love how I read the sentence, and then when it clicked in my head what I said aloud, I'm like, wait, what?
The man was a naked wench.
The man seated upon the throne was a naked wench. Oh my god.
I feel like this is something that people should give people to do a citizenship test. If they can read this, they are better than English.
If they can read this, they clearly haven't learned the language properly.
I mean, I can't say this.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, at the naked wench man.
Yeah, thank you. The man. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, the man.
Sorry, I totally Sorry. The
fine.
man upon the throne had a naked wench seated at each of his arms, and a trusted advisor seated in back of him. At each corner of the chamber, a guard stood at attention, with upraised pikes supported in their hands, golden chainmail adorning their torsos, and barred helmets emitting scarlet plumes enshrouding their heads. The man rose from his throne to the dais surrounding it. His plush turquoise robe dangled loosely from his chunky frame. The soldiers Grigna fell to their knees, with heads bowed to the stone masonry of the floor, in fearful dignity to their sovereign liege. Explain the purpose of this intrusion upon my chateau. Your serenity, resplendent in noble grandeur, we have brought this yokel before you. The soldier gestured towards Grigna. For the redress of your all-knowing wisdom in judgment regarding his fate. Down on your knees, lout, and pay proper homage to this sovereign, commanded the pudgy noble of Grigna.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay proper homage to your sovereign.
Yeah, not the bugger.
Alright.
Okay, I was so close to laughing.
You... wait, at what part?
His plush turquoise robe dangled loosely from his
chunky frame. Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. By the surly beard of Mrifk, Grignar kneels to no man, scowled the massive barbarian. You dare to deal this blasphemous act to me? You are indeed brave, stranger, yet your valor smacks of foolishness. I find you to be the only fool, sitting upon your pompous throne, enhancing the rolling flabs of your belly in the midst of your elaborate luxury yard. Oh, luxury and.
Luxury and.
I had a hard time with enhancing the rolling flabs of your belly. That
you did that part really well. It was when it got to elaborate that you.
Yeah, elaborate is luxury and that.
Yeah.
Combo word that fucked me over. All right, you're at the soldier.
The soldier. Yep. The soldier standing at Grigna's side smote him heavily in the face with the flat of his sword, cutting short the harsh words and knocking his battered helmet to the masonry with an echoing clang. The paunchy noble's sagging round face flushed suddenly pale, then pastely, lit up to a lustrous cherry-red radiance. His lips trembled with malicious rage, while emitting a muffled sibilant gibberish. His sagging flabs rolled like a tub of upset jelly, then compressed, as he sucked in his gut in an attempt to conceal his softness. That was disgusting.
This guy, he's just describing him as the Blob.
Yeah.
He's some kind of a slime monster. He's not even a human.
It's Jabba the Hutt. Draped in a plush turquoise robe, dangled loosely from his chunky frame.
And he's apparently also a naked wench.
He is.
Oh my god. Okay, that's we'll
right,
we can stop there. We're at like 40 minutes.
Also, what, 3 pages?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think we got through about 3 pages. Where are we? We're on page. We
4,
just finished page 8. No,
pages.
so we started on page 5. So 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we read 4 whole pages.
Yeah.
Out of 29.
Honestly, that felt like 10 minutes, not 40 minutes.
Oh my god. Yeah, maybe in the future, in a few weeks, if we don't have a segment 3, we'll have to come back to this. But
yeah.
Yeah. If people are listening, if people enjoyed this segment, let us know what you thought of it.
Yep, it was a little bit different this week.
Oh my god! But what did you think, Blue? Was it was it what you were expecting?
Was
like
a roller coaster of emotion. Yeah, it got from. It's just so heavily descriptive that I can't really take in the story. I mean, I know the story because only like 3 things have happened in the last 4 pages.
It's true.
And they've just been teleporting from place to place. But because this is a good lesson that over alliteration does not always help the character in the scene.
Yeah, you want to. What the quote? I think it was Mark Twain who said this, but the quote was, "If I had more time, I'd write a shorter story."
Right.
The idea is like too much detail like that just kind of hurts it. But in that case, it's just somebody it's the equivalent these days of writing something in Microsoft Word and using the synonym function and just putting in every single one of them.
Yeah, I imagine this is what most what's the word, fan fiction reads like. I've never read fan fiction, so I don't know. But this is the kind of thing that I feel that probably looks like. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, so next week we're reading 50 Shades of Grey. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, segment 3 we'll just make an audiobook.
And all of its flabby wenches. Sorry, that's disturbing. Oh, God.
I was trying to, there was so many times when you were reading, I had to like cover my mouth because I was gonna like laugh into the mic.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to laugh while you were reading.
No,
some of it was just so funny.
It's fine. Oh my god!
Especially when you were like reading the sentence, but as you went through the sentence, you got more confused by what was coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And I could just see your face in my mind's eye, just being like, "What the fuck am I saying?"
Imagine it's what it's like to be possessed. You just your mouth and body are doing things, and you just don't understand what's going on.
And you're making up new words that you never thought of. It like luxury yard. That's not a word, but it makes more sense than luxury and combined into one.
Your brain just desperately tries to make sense of what's in front of you.
It's just throwing a dart and hoping you hit the board.
Jim Thighs, truly a savant.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyway, we should really wrap up though, 'cause it's getting a bit.
We have gone on for quite a bit. So this is the end of segment 3 and the entire podcast in general. If you have enjoyed us, please come back and listen again. And if you enjoyed listening to us struggle to get through that terrible short story, let us know and we'll maybe do something like this again in future segment 3s.
Yep.
But in either case... sorry.
I was just going to say, and remember, if it's easier to listen to us on Spotify or something else like that, by all means.
It's true.
It's probably easier than, having to have an internet connection the whole time while you listen to us.
That's true, yep. We are now available in full audio format, so,
Yep.
Plenty of ways to listen. But, yep, if you've listened all the way to the end, thank you for listening, and we hope you will come back again soon.
See you next week.